Hello, this is Dave Hurwitz, Executive Editor at ClassicsToday.com, here to talk to you about the great, fabulous, exciting, thrilling music of Brazil's national composer, Heitor Villa-Lobos. Now, this is just great stuff, and there is finally the ultimate set of the Bachianas Brasileiras and the Choros pieces grouped together on bis, played by the São Paulo Symphony Orchestra under, depending on who's doing them, John Neschling and, here we go, Roberto Minczuk. God, these are great recordings. And it's taken a long time to get them because the music of Villa-Lobos was never really done that well, the orchestral music anyway, in Brazil. I mean, Villa-Lobos recorded the complete Bachianas Brasileiras here, but he had to do it in France in the 50s in mono, and they didn't sound very good. The performances, of course, are very helpful to understand what the composer's conception of the music would have been, but, aside from that, we can do better. And one of the things that actually was so depressing about the situation was that when they finally did make a series of the Bachianas Brasileiras from Brazil, it was conducted by Isaac Karabchevsky, and the playing was lousy, the sound was lousy. I mean, it was just lousy, And so finally, we got a good one from Enrique Batiz with the Royal Philharmonic on EMI. That was a good set. It was exciting and well played and fresh and nicely recorded. And then they were also done with the Nashville Symphony Orchestra and, on Naxos, which was also a good set. So there were two really basically decent sets of the Bachianas Brasileiras with a few other pieces attached to them, but nothing from Brazil. And so finally, we have them here on bis from Brazil. All the Bachianas Brasileiras and all the Choros pieces together in a box. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of reading because I want you to understand what these things are and how interesting they are and how fascinating they are. I had the opportunity to play some of this music under Alfred Heller, who was a pupil of Villa-Lobos and who became a conductor and composer of some renown. And we did one of the Villa-Lobos suites for orchestra, and we also did Bachianas Brasileiras number 4, which is one no one ever plays. Everybody knows number 2, because it's got the cute little train finale, the toccata in the last movement, which is, of course, delightful, but nobody knows the first 3 movements. And, it's just depressing because these pieces are just so full of great music. And number 4 is a terrific piece. We had a great time doing it. So anyway, let's just look at these and start with the Choros. Now, nobody knows what a choro is particularly. There is in the French box here, wait a minute, you get to hear Villa-Lobos himself explaining in French what it is. What it basically is a street music song dance combo thing, and it doesn't help to know what one is. It doesn't help at all because as a composer, Villa-Lobos, it's like he wrote one gigantic piece of music, this huge folk quasi-nationalistic, orchestral, glamorous, chamber, intimate, whatever it is, effusion of music. It just exploded into the universe, and then he cut it up into different sizes, and he called it Bachianas Brasileiras, Choros, Symphony Number 6. It doesn't make any difference. It's all Villa-Lobos. It's all this giant stream of consciousness. It's probably best not to worry so much about form, although the Bachianas Brasileiras, because of their relationships to Bach, do try to adopt some Baroque forms. But let's start with the Choros. Just so you see the variety, the fantastic variety. There's the introduction to the Choros, which is for guitar and orchestra. Then 2 Choros, they aren't numbered, for violin and cello. Then these are not in order, by the way, numerical order, because that's not how they're coupled. So I'm just going to go down the list. Choros number 2 is for flute and clarinet. Number 3 is for male choir and wind instruments. Number 10 is for orchestra and mixed choir. Number 12 is for orchestra. Number 6 is for orchestra. Number 1 is for solo guitar. Number 8 is for large orchestra and 2 pianos. Number 4 is for 3 horns and trombone. Number 9 is for orchestra. Number 11 is a massive concerto sort of thing for piano and orchestra lasting over an hour. Number 5 is for piano solo, and it's only 5 minutes long, as opposed to 62 minutes long for the other one. Number 7 is a septet, which I've also had the joy of playing because it's scored for flute, oboe, clarinet, alto saxophone, bassoon, violin, cello, and, you guessed it, tam-tam. Now, doesn't that sound great? That's a terrific piece. It's absolutely wonderful. And so those are the Choros pieces. Now, let's look at the Bachianas Brasileiras. All right, there's number 5. Everyone knows number 5 because of its first movement. It actually has 2 movements. It's an aria for soprano with 8 cellos, including a solo cello. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. There was a famous version with Stokowski and Anna Moffo. You know, you've heard Bidou Sayal did the original one over here, I think, with Villa-Lobos. I mean, everybody does it. And it's just beautiful. Next, there was number 4, which is a version for piano solo, but it also exists as I did it for full orchestra. Number 6 is for flute and bassoon. Number 1 is for an orchestra of cellos, just cellos, and it sounds marvelous. Number 2 is for orchestra, as you know, because it has the toccata at the end, the little train of Caipira in the last movement. Number 3 is a concerto. It's piano concerto for piano and orchestra. And these pieces have Bachi titles and Brazilian titles with each movement. So there's a prelude, a fantasia, an aria, a toccata, and they're also called Modena and Devaneio and Ponteo, and these are all, you know, Brazilian folk dances and similar titles. So they have a dual identity. Number 7 is for orchestra. Number 9 is for either string orchestra or a cappella choir. You can do it either way, and here you get it both ways, as you do the solo piano and orchestral versions of number 4. Number 8 is for orchestra, and then there's a quintet for flute, oboe, English horn, clarinet, and bassoon. There's a quintet in the form of a choros, so you get that. And then this set also comes with a bonus in the form of the published music for solo guitar. Now, this is billed as the complete guitar music, but this being Villa-Lobos, who are we kidding? This is the complete music for solo guitar. It's 3 discs on Naxos, including the guitar concerto. So there's really lots more guitar music than you ever thought possible. And if you want all of it, you can get that. Although I'm dropping these things. Although it's just the enthusiasm. Although the BIS recording here is superb, you know, for 1 disc of guitar. So depending on how much you want. But look, folks, if you like romantic nationalist music, if you like great 20th century music, then you absolutely, positively have to hear Villa-Lobos. And fortunately, the São Paulo Symphony is just an excellent orchestra, and they are fantastically recorded by the BIS engineers. And so finally, at long last, we have great Villa-Lobos coming from his compatriots in Brazil. And if you don't own this set, you are missing out on something absolutely fabulous. Exotic, soulful, tremendously affecting music that sounds like nothing you've ever heard before. You owe it to yourself to hear it and to keep on listening. Thank you.